Hello, and welcome back to Sabbath School Flashcard. It is Wednesday, January 15th, and the title for today's lesson is The Image Part 2. Read again the dream and its interpretation in Daniel 2 verses 31 to 49, in order to answer the following question. What does this teach us about God's foreknowledge of world history? Reading. Thou, O king, sawest, and behold a great image. This great image, whose brightness was excellent, stood before thee, and the form thereof was terrible. This image's head was of fine gold, his breast and his arms of silver, his belly and his thighs of brass, his legs of iron, his feet part of iron and part of clay. Thou sawest till that a stone was cut out without hands, which smote the image upon his feet that were of iron and clay, and brake them to pieces. Then was the iron, the clay, the brass, the silver, and the gold, broken to pieces together, and became like the chaff of the summer threshing floors, and the wind carried them away, that no place was found for them. And the stone that smote the image became a great mountain, and filled the whole earth. This is the dream, and we will tell the interpretation thereof before the king. Thou, O king, art a king of kings, for the God of heaven hath given thee a kingdom, power, and strength, and glory. And wheresoever the children of men dwell, the beasts of the field and the fowls of the heaven hath he given into thine hand, and hath made thee ruler over them all. Thou art this head of gold. And after thee shall arise another kingdom inferior to thee, and another third kingdom of brass, which shall bear rule over all the earth. And the fourth kingdom shall be strong as iron, for as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. And whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay, and part of iron, the kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of the iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. And as the toes of the feet were part of iron, and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong, and partly broken. And whereas thou sawest iron mixed with miry clay, they shall mingle themselves with the seed of men, but they shall not cleave one to another, even as iron is not mixed with clay. And in the days of these kings shall the God of heaven set up a kingdom, which shall never be destroyed, and the kingdom shall not be left to other people, but it shall break in pieces and consume all these kingdoms, and it shall stand forever. For as much as thou sawest that the stone was cut out of the mountain without hands, and that it brake in pieces the iron, the brass, the clay, the silver, and the gold, the great God hath made known to the king what shall come to pass hereafter, and the dream is certain, and the interpretation thereof sure. Then the king Nebuchadnezzar fell upon his face, and worshipped Daniel, and commanded that they should offer an oblation and sweet odors unto him. The king answered unto Daniel, and said, Of a truth it is, that your God is a God of gods, and a Lord of kings, and a revealer of secrets, seeing thou couldest reveal this secret. Then the king made Daniel a great man, and gave him many great gifts, and made him ruler over the whole province of Babylon, and chief of the governors over all the wise men of Babylon. Then Daniel requested of the king, and he set Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, over the affairs of the province of Babylon. But Daniel sat in the gate of the king. Be ready to discuss your answers in Sabbath school this coming Sabbath. The prophecy conveyed by Nebuchadnezzar's dream provides a general prophetic outline and functions as the yardstick with which to approach the more detailed prophecies of Daniel 7, 8, and 11. Also, Daniel 2 is not a conditional prophecy. It is an apocalyptic prophecy, a definitive prediction of what God foresaw and would actually bring to pass in the future. The head of gold represents Babylon, 626 to 539 BC. Indeed, no other metal could better represent the power and wealth of the Babylonian Empire than gold. The Bible calls it the Golden City. Let's see Isaiah 14:4, which reads, That thou shalt take up this proverb against the king of Babylon, and say, How hath the oppressor ceased? The Golden City ceased. And in Jeremiah 51:10, a golden cup in the Lord's hand. Reading, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Compare these scriptures with Revelation 18:16. Reading, and saying, Alas, alas, that great city, that was clothed in fine linen, and purple, and scarlet, and decked with gold, and precious stones, and pearls. The ancient historian Herodotus reports that an abundance of gold embellished the city. The chest and arms of silver stand for Media-Persia. 539 to 331 BC. As silver is valued less than gold, the Medo-Persian Empire never attained the splendor of the Babylonian. In addition, silver was also a fitting symbol for the Persians because they used silver in their taxation system. The belly and thighs of bronze symbolize Greece. 331 to 168 BC. Quoting Ezekiel 27:13, Javan, Tubal, and Meshech, they were thy merchants. They traded the persons of men and vessels of brass in thy market." End of quote. Portrays the Greeks as bartering bronze vessels. Greek soldiers were noted for their bronze armor. Their helmets, shields, and battle axes consisted of brass. Herodotus tells us that Psammetichus I of Egypt saw in invading Greek pirates the fulfillment of an oracle that foretold men of bronze coming from the sea. The legs of iron aptly represent Rome. 168 BC to AD 476. As Daniel explained, the iron represented the crushing power of the Roman Empire, which lasted longer than any of the previous kingdoms. Iron was a perfect metal to represent the empire. The feet partly of iron and partly of clay represents a divided Europe, AD 476 to the Second Coming of Christ. The mixture of iron with clay provides a fitting picture of what happened after the disintegration of the Roman Empire. Although many attempts have been made to unify Europe, ranging from marriage alliances between royal houses to the present European Union, division and disunity have prevailed and, according to this prophecy, will remain so until God establishes the eternal kingdom. This is Witness Glenn. Again, thanks for coming back and please remember to like and share this video.